Shalom, shalom family. This is Yuaka Kia Yasharallah coming back again with another lesson. So before we jump into this lesson, I just want to start off by giving all glory and praises to the Most High Yahweh and to his son Yahweh Shai. So again, I have a very important lesson for us today, something very important that I want us to dig into. But before we also do that, I just want to encourage my brothers and sisters tuning into this to seek the Most High, while he may still be found, because the time is coming where the Most High is going to remove his presence from earth. So I just want to start off with this scripture here, wouldn't say lost, but a chapter of Acts 29 that was taken out, and here verse 1, and Paul, full of the blessing of Hamashiach and abounding in the Spirit, departed out of Rome, determining to go into Spain, for he had a long time proposed to journey thitherward, and was minded also to go from thence to Britain. So the reason why I want to bring this out is, I want to delve into the history of Spain a little bit, and the history of the Moors and of the Jews of Spain, and because most of our people are not familiar and privy with the history of the Moors, when black people ruled Europe for at least like about 700 years in the Dark Ages. So I want to tap into a little bit of that history. I'm going to be titling this video When Africans Civilized Europe, and actually, in actual reality, Africans actually brought the Bible to Europe and to Europeans. And, today when we think Europeans brought civilization to us, they brought religion to us, and they brought the Bible to us. But in actual fact, the reality is we actually brought it to them and we civilized them. So let's dive into that a bit. So let's take it back to the papal decree, the decree of Pope Nicholas V. And this is basically the decree. I'm just going to read it. For his battles against the Muslims, endorsing his military expeditions into Western Africa, and instructing him to capture and subdue all Saracens. So this was literally on the foothills of, not the foothills, right on the cusp when the Catholics, or when the Caucasians sought to gain control back of Spain and Portugal. They basically made an edict, the papal bull of 1455, when they defeated the Moors in Spain. They then made it their mission to go and search out wherever, because the Moorish Empire was a global empire of black people. So they made it their mission then to go and search out wherever these Saracens were. And that word Saracen is just a code word that they use for someone who's a descendant of the tribes of Arabia, aka code word for Israelites, or those who are descendants of the tribes of Israel. So the next, this is also another good source, the Jews and Moors of Spain. I've used it in my previous videos. So I want to highlight out something, which is quite, eye-opening when I first encountered this, and this just speaks to the attitude of Christianity, the caucasity, of Christianity, and this puffed up attitude of, superiority. And, the whole religion of Christianity is rooted in the hatred of black people, and I'm about to bring that out. So I'm reading from the second paragraph here on page 176. The cruelties of the Inquisition were not the first which were visited upon the Jews. Their second series of suffering in Spain began on the day when the Christian forces defeated the Moorish army upon the battlefield. The tolerance the Moor could afford to offer the Jew, the religion of Christ could not. In Aragon and Castile, it was not a rare sight to see the fanatical populace stimulated by the no less fanatical clergy to make a fierce assault on the unfortunate people, guilty of no other crime than that of promoting the prosperity of Spain and of adhering to their inherited belief breaking into their houses, violating their most private sanctuaries, and consigning them by the thousands to indiscriminate massacre without regard to sex or age. Hatred of the Jews was for many centuries a faithful index of the piety of the Christians. Man, so it just makes sense why these people just came in and just basically decimated us and decimated Africa, and just, it's all the prophecies in the Bible are true, and this is why, this information is so important for us to bring out, so that we can understand that the religion of Christianity has absolutely nothing to do with the truth of the scriptures of the Bible and even the people of the Bible in itself, because as what I'm going to bring out now, that Constantine, the founder of the Christian religion, from the very jump, he hated Jews and he wanted nothing to do with the Israelites. So every single prophet in the scriptures were Jews. So how are you going to take a people's culture and their history book and turn it into a religion, but hate the people where it comes from and that authored it and wrote it? It makes no sense, but from a Christian perspective, but from an Israelite perspective, and from us being the true people of the Bible, it makes sense, man. So this is the next page, second line. The residence was restricted within certain prescribed limits of the city which they inhabited. They were held up to continuous public scorn by being compelled to wear peculiar dress on which was sewed their badge of shame. Even in the executions, they were branded for a long time. They were hanged between two dogs and with their head downwards. So these were the type of cruel tortures these evil people did to us, man. It was nothing about spreading the gospel and about, the truth of the Bible and the love of the Most High. It had absolutely nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with, uprooting the chosen people of the Most High, man. And we can see clearly the effects of that. And this is just an oath, like the Jesuit oath that you have to take to become a Jesuit or a Pope or whatever. So I'm just going to read it for you. So I furthermore promise and declare that I will, when opportunity present, make and wage relentless war secretly or openly against all heretics, Protestants and liberals, as I am directed to do, to extirpate and exterminate them from the face of the whole earth, and that I will spare neither age, sex, or condition, and that I will hang, waste, boil, fray, strangle, and bury alive these infamous heretics, rip up their stomachs and wombs of their women, and crush their infants' heads against the walls in order to annihilate forever their execrable race. So this is what it's talking about, this hatred that you see. This is an ancient Jesuit oath of the Jesuit order, and this oath you still have to take it to this day, man. And this is the exact horrors and atrocities that our people endured during slavery, man. Babies being ripped out of the mother's womb, being crushed against the walls, just terrible tortures that our people endured just to be forced to become Christians. So this is just, I just want to read here this quote, this meme. Constantine and his bishops voted a bunch of books as the word of Yah. They picked and chose what they want in the Bible and burn all other pre-Christian documents that prove the religion was fictitious. In order to make the religion popular, they kill everyone who don't agree with the new religion and made laws prohibiting any public talk about religion. It was illegal to disagree with the church. And this is the exact same attitude that to the Spanish Inquisition. Like, this happened during the 325 AD, and then also again in the 14th century during the Spanish Inquisition. And also goes on further to say here that if any shall be found to be Judaizers, let them be anathema from Christ, meaning let them be separated from the Messiah. For it is unbecoming beyond measure that on this holiest of festivals we should follow the customs of the Jews. Henceforth let us have nothing in common with this odious people, who ought therefore to have not anything in common, not to have anything in common with the Jews. So since the beginning of the creation of the Christian religion, it was anti-Jew, anti-black, anti-Israelite. So that's why we see these sentiments, in it today. That's why we see that the most devout Christians are the most racist people. It makes sense, because that's who they pay homage to, and in order to pay homage to their false deity, they pay homage by hating the chosen people of the Most High. But all of this is all part of prophecy. Second Baruch chapter 39, also Daniel chapter 7 and 32, and Daniel chapter 2 and 33 talks about this. This is the fourth beast that the prophet Daniel spoke about, the abomination of desolation, the fake church, the fake church. So this is that fake church. Christianity is that fake religion prophesied in the book of Daniel that would come and change the laws of the earth, change the laws of the Most High, because nothing is in tune with the natural law. Up is down, down is up, evil is good, good is evil. A man can be a woman can be a man. So it's all confusion, and it all goes back to them, what they have set up in this earth. Find this also very, very appropriate. You can't talk about racism without talking about white supremacy. You can't talk about white supremacy without talking about Christianity. They're tied. They're interwoven, and it's the root of racism. 100%, man. 100%. You can't even deny that. And here's also another, bomb, the pagan deity. I don't even want to say these deities' names, man. But you can read it for yourself. And it's time that we become correct, man. Our people, we love to say that the son of the Most High and whatever, but then use the correct name because there's no J in the Hebrew language, We need to stop calling on this J person. I don't even want to say the name, but you can read it there for yourself, man. And this is just a painting, a medieval painting of how they were persecuting our people, man. These damn Caucasians, because of their hatred, man. Their hatred because the Most High just chose us. So this has been a very, very long ongoing war. And as I brought out there in the book Jews and Moors of Spain, this is also just to show what the word Moor means, to denote someone with dark skin, because they always like to say no, Moor means Muslim. Now, Moor is not a Muslim, because they were Jews who were Moors, right? So it automatically debunks that. But anyone that truly believes the truth of the Hebrew scriptures must reject the false teachings of Christianity. The Creator's name is so important that it is written as Yahweh in the Dead Sea Scrolls almost 7,000 times. People completely in this truth do not willfully continue to violate his name. By referring to him as Lord, God, the Jesus, or that other name, nor anything else. We are to honor and obey his Torah commandments and Shabbats if we truly love him and desire to enter his kingdom. Oh man, 100%. And, how easy is it just to learn someone's name? And how disrespectful is it to say you know someone and you don't even know their name, man? So we really need to consider these things, and it's really easy. It's really easy, the commandments of the Most High, like these basic things, like just, stop saying all these fake names, start learning the real name of the Most High. Easy things, man. But I'm going to go into the next segment and just show a couple of videos and some evidence of the things that our people built in Spain and Portugal. Some of our castles are artifacts, and just proof of how we actually civilized Europe and actually brought the scriptures, translated it, and brought it to Europe.
lot of the technology, the science, the astronomy, irrigation for being able to develop these lands. The Africans in Europe originally came out of the Moors, came out of North Africa, out of the area that's known as Morocco, ruled that area called the Iberian Peninsula for centuries. And it's interesting because what most people don't realize is that the Moors had brought to Western Europe, before Europe even had developed the technologies to do a lot of the things that they had done. And when the Moors had been defeated in 1492, that expulsion of the Moors, they had moved into areas that were now considered Western Europe.
Here's some more. Okay. Black men in castles, Caucasians coming against them. There's so many, and this is from Harvard. And these books cost like $500. So the typical average black or Latin man would never buy this. Okay? Europeans will get it and go, hey, don't share this with them. That's why I said what Hoover said, the greatest danger is black unity. Like here, here's some more. Mm-hmm. Okay? Look, they're being slaughtered here, black people being killed here. Look, look, look. All of these things. Mm-hmm. 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 Here's another one here.
Do you know Leonard Jeffries?
No, I know of him. I don't know him personally. No.
Yeah,
but there's a lot in here, Sam. And
yeah, and
many more books.
Yeah, and we haven't really talked too much about the medieval element. So I think that would be a much longer conversation.
Oh, you ever saw that book?
No. But we spoke about this last time. This stuff we spoke about this.
You see who published it, right?
Harvard.
There's some heavy stuff in here. I wanted to show you. This is good. There's a lot of images from the time of the medieval time to the Renaissance, like here, where you have the Moors. Look who's coming against the castles. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is all in Europe. Mm-hmm. Okay, but they don't show you this in the movies. Like in the movies, they'll put these guys in the castle and these guys over here. Mm-hmm. They flip, everything's reversed. And this is one of the secrets that Leonard Jeffries wanted to open up the libraries. He said, open up the libraries so we can reveal the history that has been whitewashed and hidden. And he was kicked out, or I think they took his tenure, if I'm not mistaken. I could be.
Website of Swiss travel. So it's just me browsing, and I want to show you actually a place called Von Wachsplas, or called Morenbrunnen. It depicts the Moorish king Caspar. The column dates back to 1520. So this is a depiction of a Moorish king in Switzerland that is still standing there today. And it's actually recommended as a highly recommended tourist destination. And just also show you guys as well here the many emblems in Europe are associated with this period of 600-year-old. It also says 600-year-old statue of a Moor is at the center of controversy over whether it is reinforcing racial stereotypes. So, our people were definitely out there. Our people, this is actually just historical proof. Why would an actual statue and a place be there? Why would these ancient artifacts that are 600, 700 years old, why would these things exist? And he says there is this emblem, a burn, guilt, racist. It's still very clear. You have this Caucasian guy trying to explain what's going on, whatever. But just to show you, my people, that we were all up in these places like Spain, Portugal, France, Germany, Britain. These were all places where, our people, melanated people, Moorish people, black people, whatever you want to call us, who were actually the Israelites, where we were all up in there, we were ruling.
The known world. This wasn't the rigid, ferocious Islam of our imaginations, but a progressive, sensuous, intellectually curious culture that for a number of spine-tingling years looks set to sweep through the whole of Europe. It is an incredible story, but one that has been systematically written out of history. After the Catholic monarchs took over the city of Granada, they began to destroy all evidence that the Muslims had ever been in Spain. In the following century, the Spanish authorities persecuted and expelled 300,000 Muslims and burned as many as 1 million Arabic books. This was an astonishing act of ethnic cleansing. It put an end to a civilization which had flourished in Spain for 700 years. These people have become known as the Moors. Propaganda, sparked by the Crusades, has given us an enduring image: the diabolical Moor, a dark-skinned, savage, alien enemy. But this character is a complete invention and tells us nothing about who these people really were. Now, archaeologists and historians are starting to piece together the real story of the Moors in Spain. They're uncovering the remains of hidden cities, discovering the role of Muslims in the revival of the classics, and decoding the meaning of Islamic buildings. A fascinating picture has emerged. I'm going to use this new research to explore what happened when East met West in Europe. If there is one place which challenges the stereotype of the treacherous, bloodthirsty Moor, it's here, the Alhambra Palace in Granada. The Alhambra is one of the most complete medieval Islamic palaces in the whole world. It was built by the Muslim kings of Granada in the 14th century, at the height of their power. Its name means the red one, because the dark surrounding soil has given its stones an earthy reddish hue. The marvel of the Alhambra is its mystery. Not a single account of life here survives. All its archives were incinerated in the fires of the Inquisition. But the Catholics couldn't bring themselves to destroy this place. The Alhambra is one of the wonders of the medieval world, and by preserving it, they've kept a box of secrets that we can use to decode the civilization that built it. Inside the palace walls, the architecture is breathtaking. Although the aesthetic of this courtyard is quite cool and minimal now, in its heyday it would have been a riot of colour. Granada was very famous for producing silks, and you've had silk hangings billowing in the breeze, and silk cushions and silk rugs where people laid out to eat their dinner and to listen to music. And in fact, it's only when you get down to rug level that you appreciate one of the bits of magic of the place, because from down here, this pool acts like a kind of infinity mirror, and the whole of the palace just looks as if it's suspended in water. Every detail of the palace decoration seems to be part of a scheme. Row upon row of intricate geometric patterns are carved into the woodwork of the walls and windows. This is the throne room. It was the symbolic centre of the palace, and here the Sultan had a kind of psychological advantage over his subjects. Whereas he'd have stood here, an eerie silhouette, they'd have been blinded by the light that came streaming in through these brightly coloured stained glass windows. The 19th century writer Washington Irving observed,
"It's impossible to contemplate this abode of Oriental manners without feeling the early association of Arabian romance. One almost expects to see some dark eye sparkling through the lattice. The abode of beauty is here, as if it had been inhabited but yesterday.
But this is far more than just a beautiful building. There's a specific reason why it feels so harmonious. The men who built it had a knowledge of complex geometry which had originated in the ancient world. The first man to set down these mathematical principles was the Greek philosopher Pythagoras. Pythagoras saw numbers everywhere in the universe, but his brilliance was to understand the importance of the ratio between them.
Professor Antonio Fernandez Puertas.
But his brilliance was to understand the importance of the ratio between them.
Professor Antonio Fernandez Puertas has spent his life studying the Alhambra. He's discovered that the whole of the building, from the ground plan to the wall decoration, is based around one single ratio.
I think everything is so perfect because everything is under control of the proportion and very, very simple. You notice that there is something magic about these buildings. There is something marvelous in your surroundings. It's very, very simple. It's the relation between the ground and the elevations of the buildings. It's as simple as that. The king ordered a new palace. He has a limited area to build the palace. To west, east, and south, he was limited. Then he did something ingenious and beautiful.
The King of Granada asked his architects to harmonise each and every space within the palace according to a single set of proportions, a family of rectangles, each related to the other.
If you want to get proportional rectangle, you have the same base. Take the diagonal, put it up,
Yes.
and you got successive rectangle, proportional rectangle.
The key to the Alhambra's design is the simple relationship between the side of a square and its diagonal. If we use the diagonal to make a rectangle, and then the diagonal from that rectangle to make another, we get a progression of rectangles. The fourth rectangle is double the size of the first, and the diagonals in this sequence are in fact the square roots of 2, 3, 4, and 5. A magical sequence.
And are they doing all this just with two set squares and a piece of string?
Yes,
That's very clever.
yes.
Every part of the intricate network of spaces, all the courtyards, the hallways, the placement of every column was designed using inspired variations of this proportional system.
Proportion is also in the elevation. You have the kiosk. Here you build a square, and with the diagonal, you swing it up.
Nothing violated this incredibly elaborate system. The Alhambra is a triumph of mathematics as much as it is of aesthetics. Mathematical ingenuity is the root of its beauty.
But no one talks about this. Everyone looks at the Alhambra just as an aesthetic experience.
When you go to a concert and you listen to Mozart, you listen Beethoven, you listen Verdi, you don't know perhaps music, but you notice that there is something magic.
Yes.
It happens with that the same. You feel it.
The Alhambra is so enchanting. It's all too easy to view it as a fairy tale palace, isolated from history. But that is romantic nonsense. This palace was the product of a very real, very gritty history. The Alhambra was built by a religious empire which, at the pinnacle of its power, dominated land from China to Africa. An empire which had the wealth and intellect to build such masterpieces. An empire whose history goes back to the deserts of 7th century Arabia.
knowledge. Come, you Muslims.
Le musulman vient ici pour apprendre.
Come and learn, because with knowledge you can become what you want to be in the future. During the medieval period, knowledge was high on the agenda in the Islamic world. Muslim societies produced many books in the various spheres of knowledge, and these books came to be known worldwide.
It wasn't just an enlightened attitude to reading which placed learning at the heart of the Islamic world. Necessity was also the mother of invention.
Because the Arabs were nomads and desert traders who often had to travel in the cool of the night, they were well versed in using the stars as guiding devices. This developed into a very sophisticated study of astronomy. Then with the establishment of Islam, that knowledge was applied in a new way. Whenever a mosque was built, the prayer niche had to be orientated in direct relation to Mecca, and there were a number of religious festivals that had to fall on certain days in the lunar year.
These were complex mathematical problems for which the Muslims devised precise solutions. Islam became a culture which naturally embraced scientific and mathematical investigation. This uninhibited attitude towards learning meant that when Muslims encountered the teachings of other cultures, they seized upon them vigorously. In the very early days of Islam, Muslims came into contact with a body of knowledge which had been ignored by most of Northern Europe for centuries. The works of the ancient Greeks.
It's once you look at a globe that it becomes particularly easy to understand why the Arabs were such natural inheritors of Greek learning. From the Bronze Age onwards, there'd been a constant exchange of artifacts and information all across the Eastern Mediterranean. And in fact, a number of Greek ideas stem from Eastern and Egyptian influences. The bulk of this knowledge was preserved in the great schools and library at Alexandria. And then in 641 AD, the Arabs take over the city and at a stroke have direct access to this precious learning.
Many of these texts found their way to Fez. This is an Arabic translation of Aristotle with an additional commentary by the Muslim scholar Averroes.
The translation's done in Iraq, and then Averroes does this commentary in Al-Andalus.
There's even an early Arabic translation of the Bible.
So it's extraordinary, isn't it, that Arabic's the lingua franca, and everybody's writing in Arabic, even the Bible.
And thus ends the Gospel of Mark the Apostle.
The contrast with Europe at this time could not have been
Arkansas is
greater.
the most racist town in the United States.
Have a little pride in your race, brother. What pride, worldwide? I wouldn't say after dark, man.
Honestly, dude, you have balls of steel. You could get hospitalized by some guys that want to beat your ass.
I've had several old men come by here, look out the window and tell me, says, you better go tell that nigger to get out of here and shit.
About 10 minutes, I'm going to be back. You better be fucking gone.
Okay, come back.
One down the white line. We matter too. You're a white man. Crazy.
You're a dumbass motherfucker. You dumb shit.
Are you a Marxist?
Communist. Domestic terrorist.
Why don't you take it to Chicago or New York and hold it up where they're shooting each other?
Explain to me why Cooper's out that.
No, they don't. Do a real fucking job.
I'm Jesus.
Get your ass out of town. That shit don't make shit here.
Hey, all lives matter, not just black.
You're Caucasian.
You're white.
You look like a white guy holding a black man's hat. What's the deal with that? I'd be ashamed to be a white boy carrying that stupid sign.
You're white, aren't you? Oh, boy. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Hey, you saying something, dude?
Yes, sir.
I am good.
Because I'm tired of seeing this right here is the biggest hoax there ever was.
It's just the next thing to ask.
It is.
Yeah, black lives do matter, but what about ours, man?
Apparently black people's lives matter more than us.
Apparently.
You know, the Irish had...
The niggers gonna kill you free. Black guys don't matter for the food.
Hey Mike, how's your day going? Walmart, they put out this statement.
I would ask you to leave. Exactly what I'm saying is exactly what they would ask me to do.
Hey man, that's serious hatred right there, man. And this is an age-old enemy, an age-old thing we've been fighting. And as the scripture says that, you know, these people, they have a perpetual hatred towards us, and they have put aside all pity, man. That's why they can, you know, do what they did to our babies, just feed a damn baby to an alligator and just take its head and smash it against a wall. You know, they have no pity. And yeah, there's just some more proof there of the king, the Moorish king. Some pictures there of the library still left in Timbuktu, and this is honestly how they found us. We weren't ignorant, we weren't stupid. We don't come from the ghettos. We were put in the ghettos. We were made to be poor, and we turned from being royalty to being ignorant. But we are the sons and daughters of the Most High, man, and may we return to what we really are. And being an Israelite isn't a religion. It's a bloodline, a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who our forefathers are. So with that, I just want to give all praise to the Most High Yahweh. And thank you so much all for tuning in. Please do leave a comment and like, and let me know what you guys would want me to discuss. With that, I say Shalom.
Euphrates River Drive, we getting close to Armageddon. Whoa. Somebody better tell them who they playing with. The ruler of armies, yeah, the savior on his way again. Nations gonna be bowing down at his presence. The same mouths that blaspheme, confessing. I don't wanna get caught on the wrong side. When he cracked the sky, it's gonna be terrifying.